Well, finally, 2 suspects will be extradited to South Africa. Nearly 2 years after the murder of rapper Kiernan, a.k.a. Forbes, and his friends Tebello, Tibz, Motsoane, Siyabonga and Malusi Ndimande were arrested in Eswatini early last year after months on the run. Their extradition comes after they dropped an appeal against the Eswatini court's decision to send them back to face trial. The brothers are accused of masterminding the fatal shooting outside a Durban restaurant in February 2023, which drew on, of course, the attack and outrage of the country and sparked one of the country's biggest investigations in recent years. They're expected to be handed over to SAPS on Tuesday to join 5 others in custody. To help us understand what happens next and what this means for the justice process, we're joined by the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi. Minister, this has been a long road ahead, and I can't imagine that it's ever easy. Extraditions typically are arduous and take a great deal of time. We couldn't have done this, of course, without the extradition treaty that we have with Eswatini. Talk to us about how important the cooperation was of the Eswatini authorities.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to your viewers as well. It is quite important that we continue this work to give hope to those that are seeking justice, and to say that when people commit crimes within our shores, we will not only leave them to go out and live and go to their countries or to different countries, but will definitely work around the clock, work with all law enforcement agencies, especially various countries, to be able to bring them back. This extradition, you would remember that many people have been criticizing NPA and ourselves as government in the manner that we handle extraditions, that sometimes they have loopholes or we are not successful, and others will make a link with the Bushiri case. And it does show that when it's done appropriately, when a country responds with a response in the manner that they are required to, we do have successful cases. And we are looking forward to the brothers coming back home on Tuesday through mechanisms working together with us, because those processes are prescribed. It will be Interpol working with together with our South African Police Service to be able to bring them back, but later then they will be able to be taken to court so that they can be able to face their charges.
Yeah, talk us through what some of the delays were in this particular extradition application to Eswatini, because it's been a 2-year exercise.
Look, the issue firstly is that they challenged the authority. They challenged the validity of the extradition request, which then, as they looked at the Schultz matter, indicating that the person who signed the extradition was not the right authority. And that's why, as the minister, I had to do an affidavit to confirm that from the executive authority then, it has been confirmed that we did process it. Then they went back again to say, no, I was not on the portfolio, and therefore the minister then, who was Minister Lamula, needed to confirm that he had signed. So we had to get an affidavit from Minister Lamula, which was deposited, and that's what led to them dropping the charge and dropping the appeal.
Yeah, Minister, just talk to us quickly about, because if it's state-to-state communication in extradition exercise, typically when we communicate with other states in your capacity as a representative of the state, you would do that through the diplomatic channels. You tell us now about the affidavit that was deposed by Minister Lamula, but in his capacity as the former Minister of Justice. But tell us about the support that you would have needed from him as your DIRCO counterpart in opening up the diplomatic channels for that communication to keep on, of course, starting it off, but also ensuring that it remains consistent.
How it happens is that the NPA, through the NDPP, will write to the Minister of Justice to say, we've got this case that is before our courts. They are the following individuals that we are looking for. They are currently in this country, and we are requesting that you communicate that we would want to bring them back. And then as the minister will authorize that, send a letter through DIRCO to the Eswatini Minister of Justice to say, we are looking for these people. They are in your country. Therefore, we are requesting your prosecutorial authority in your country. Others they call them attorney generals. And then we say we're requesting them to cooperate with NPA and work together with them to be able to bring those individuals back. Sometimes it's not individuals, it's accounts that we're looking for. Sometimes it's information from banks in that particular country. So extradition works in that way. So Minister Lamona's department as DECO, International Relations, will be the one that facilitates the communication between myself and the minister in another country of where we're looking for. Similarly, with other countries who wants to communicate to us, they will do that through the Minister of DECO to communicate to say, Minister Kubayi, we have a case in Switzerland, in US, this is the individual we are looking for, and we'll look at that because they've got to present case. There is the requirements that are needed. You've got to be able to prove that those people are definitely, there's an indictment, there's a case before court, because we don't extradite for any reason. Secondly, the country that we are exchanging, one of the requirements is that for us as South Africa, when we exchange people to other countries, that they should not have death penalties. So when they come to us, because we do not have, we confirm the right to life as per our constitution, and therefore then they are brought back into the country. Once that process, and then when they do that process in their country, and the court has found that yes, they are extraditable, there is an order that is issued that is communicated to us as a country to say confirmation has been received. These people will be released to you on this date, and therefore then we activate Interpol and SAPS, because Justice and NPA don't facilitate that. It is SAPS that gets in to be able, because they are the ones that does the arrest. So SAPS will then work together with Interpol to be able to get those individuals back into the country.
Minister, you mentioned there that when you receive an extradition application from another country, you have to satisfy yourself with the fact that this person won't be subjected to the death penalty because, of course, South African law speaks against it. But in some instances, in many instances, you have to satisfy yourself that this person isn't politically persecuted or otherwise persecuted because you have to then give them that sort of protection. In the same vein, do you have to satisfy yourself with the merits of the case when the NPA writes to you and says, we seek your audience and assistance in an extradition application, we have this case? Do you have to satisfy yourself with the merits of that case before you initiate the extradition application?
No, I don't get involved in the merits of the case. It's the court that gets involved. For example, if somebody is to be extradited, the matter will be before the court. So I will get that notice to say, okay, they've looked at it, therefore the person has to be handed over. So it's those process. With a case, for example, with Ndimande, there is a case before the court. So the judges would have said, yes, NPA has presented, they've got a case, there's NPA would say there is a case that these people need to answer. I do not have the competence to know whether this case is valid, they would be found guilty or not guilty. They have to present themselves so that the court can make a decision whether they are guilty or not. So as the minister, you don't get involved in the merit of the case. You look, there are requirements that must be met by NPA if they are the ones that are requesting the person from outside. Secondly, if it's the country that requests for us to send that individual out. Also, there are requirements. That's why you would have heard me complain about, for example, Malawi, that Malawi did not have to look at the merits. It's not the Malawian government or Malawian courts that have a case against the Bushiri couple. It is the South African courts that have a case. And therefore, Malawi's government needed to look at whether we meet the requirements. The requirement is that they were before a court of law in South Africa. There is a case, and that court, and with them it was even supposed to be easy because they were out on bail. So they've already gone to court, they've pleaded, they've been arrested, and they fled the country. So it should have been easy for them to hand them over, not to look at the merit of the case, because they do not have a case. It's us as a country that have a case against them.
Yeah. Minister Kubayi, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That's the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, Minister Mmamoloko Kubayi, talking to us there on the extradition of the two murder accused in the case of the murder of AKA as well as Tibz, who were killed in February 2023.